attempts to end the conflict in Syria have so far been futile. Almost 5 years of war have reaped destruction and death, but little else. The Arabs are asleep. Come and see what is happening here, this rebel fighter shouts. God help us. Many people have predicted the fall of the Assad regime, but he perhaps looks more secure now than at any other time during the crisis. So while world powers push for new peace talks, those who hope to stop the killing are also skeptical. Syrians keep leaving their country because the war rages on and people carry on dying. This is the chaos after an airstrike in Aleppo this month. There's no sign of life getting easier here, which is why efforts to restart peace talks in Geneva this week are so important.
The first priority will be the focus of the talks of what most Syrians, if not all, want to hear. The possibility of a broad ceasefire and the possibility of stopping the threat of ISIL.
The UN Security Council has already agreed on a peace plan that calls for an immediate ceasefire. A transitional government would be established within 6 months, followed by free and fair elections a year later. But there are many complications. One is getting the different sides to agree on who can take part in the new talks. These are Kurdish Syrian militants, the YPG, the military wing of the PYD. Turkey has said it will boycott the talks if they're invited.
We are not against the Kurds, but we are categorically against the YPG and PYD, who oppress the Kurds sitting at the table.
But other sides do support the involvement of Kurdish militants. Russia believes they should be part of the talks.
Without their party, without their participation, the talks cannot achieve the results that we want, a definitive political resolution in Syria.
Away from the arguments over who to include in the peace talks, there are other clear divisions. The Syrian regime is supported by Russia, Iran and Hezbollah, while the opposition is split between a large number of groups. The HNC includes different armed rebels and is backed by Saudi Arabia, while the SDC includes Syrian Kurdish militants. The various opposition groups are backed by different countries, including the US, Turkey and Qatar. It means finding a solution to the conflict is complicated, and at this stage, the future of Assad is not even going to be discussed. Aided by Russian airstrikes, Syrian forces have recently made gains, taking back control of towns and villages held by rebel groups. The Syrian regime and its backers know they go into these peace talks from a position of relative strength, but the peace they might pursue is likely to be very different to that envisaged by the opposition. Duncan Crawford, The Newsmakers.